Hi, guys, and welcome to Healing Self Love Healing with Dessicoco. That was very awkward. I forgot the name of my podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about facing fears. Uh, as many of you guys know, I have a lot of mental issues. I have anxiety, um, panic attacks, and depression. My depression has been very well uh, due to compared to the circumstances that we are living in right now. So my depression is not something I worry about very often, but definitely anxiety and bipolar disorder are one of the main things that I'm facing at this moment. And yeah, I guess I'll just start by saying, talking about how to face your fears, which is the topic for today. And one of the main things that helped me to face my fears were the fact that I made my fears, I made my goals bigger than my fears. A few Oh, okay. I can't fix the microphone. It's just Grumpito there. I feel like he's gonna knock it down. He's just staring at the microphone. Anyway, a year ago or so, I was very sick. I was I was in a very dangerous neighborhood, one of the most dangerous in our country. And I was really living a really sad life. I was locked in my room for 6 months. I could barely walk, eat, talk. I couldn't really get out of my room without having a panic attack. And I've had two of these episodes in my life, and they were not very, very nice. And one of the main reasons why I faced the fear of getting out of my room was because I I'm not gonna lie, I do have suicide thoughts and everything. Uh, but I also really, really want to live. Um, Obviously with anxiety and depression, it's really hard for me to want to, but I do. Me as a person, it's definitely. So what I did was I started with a vision board at the beginning of the year. Note that I was still very sick. I could barely even walk. I wouldn't stop shaking. That's how bad my anxiety was. And my doctor got me on Xanax because, well, my anxiety was it was really bad. I couldn't even walk. And so I got on, I saw this YouTube video and I saw this thing of vision boards. So I did it. I didn't know it was gonna come true. I didn't know if any of it was gonna come true. I didn't even know what it was. uh, but I grabbed two pieces of white paper that I had laying around my room and some old magazines, and I visioned everything that I wanted. Um, at that moment, I couldn't work. Like I said, I was really bad. I was close to getting hospitalized. I should have been hospitalized. Um, for some strange reason, I wasn't, but I should have been. And and so yeah, I grabbed this thing and I created my vision board. One of the main things that helped me was creating that. I put it in my door, like next to my door, and I woke up and looked at it every morning. In that vision board, I had I wanted my own apartment. I wanted an iPhone. I wanted Yannick is trying to get the recent vision board, but no, it's fine. Just try not to rip it. I wanted to go back to school. I wanted a life full of love. I wanted friends, true friends, because I didn't have many back then. I wanted my own store. I wanted to design. all these crazy things that if I would have told anybody about them, because I didn't tell anybody about this vision board. My boyfriend was the first person I told after a little while of dating. And so, yeah, I was pretty much alone. And there was no way I could figure this. Like, if anybody would have seen that vision board, they'd just be like, okay. They would just be nice to me about it, but they would, in their brains, would be like, well, I don't want her to get her hopes up. There's no way this is happening. And that was for the vision board of 2020. In that year, almost everything came true. One of the things I can name that didn't come true was going back to school, because I was not ready to go back to school. I'm still deciding in like what school I want to be in. I'm thinking if I should study abroad or here, and so I still don't want to go back to school because of that. But with anxiety, with depression, with panic attacks, I managed to move away 6 hours away from home. I managed to get my own apartment just like I wanted to. I managed to get an iPhone. At that time, I didn't care what type of iPhone I wanted. um, I just wanted an iPhone, but inside of me, I've always wanted a rose gold iPhone. Like, ever since they came out, I believe iPhone 7 or iPhone 6, I've always wanted them. I never got them. I never got a single rose gold. So I knew I wanted that. And it's so amazing how I ended up getting the iPhone XS Max rose gold, which was so incredible for me, because I mean, like I said in my YouTube video, even an iPhone 8 would have been nice. Like, I would be happy, more than happy, with an iPhone 8. So it was so crazy for me, the fact that I got an iPhone XS Max. And let me just say, all of this that I got wouldn't have turned out if I didn't face my fears. Like, you can make a vision board, you can leave it in a corner of your room and forget about it. But the things on there won't come true just because you made a vision board. They will come true because you get up every morning and you fight for them. It took me 6 months to get out of my room. 6 months. I was in my room December, January, from December, like 6 months from there. And I would look at my vision board, and every night when I would go to sleep, I would think of the life and how I would feel and how amazing it would be to have the life that I wanted to have. And I just thought of that. I didn't think about how I was going to get there. I didn't think about the money. I didn't think about anything. I just thought about all that beautiful energy of having this life that I have now. And slowly, I started going out again. I started trusting people. I started believing in myself. Obviously, it wasn't easy. I couldn't even get into public transportation. Like, I couldn't get on the bus without having a panic attack. So what I did is, the first time I went on a bus, I literally was on the bus for 2 minutes, and then I couldn't take it any longer. I got off and I came back home. And that's how it started. It started with 2 minutes. It started with 3, 4, 5, up until I managed to go to the beach, be at the beach for 5 minutes, and then come all the way back home. And then I started dating, and that's when I met my boyfriend. And my boyfriend is everything that I've always wanted. He is everything, exactly like I imagined him, is exactly what I got. I'm not going to say that our relationship is perfect, because no relationship is perfect. Everybody has their challenges. But I am going to say that everything that I wanted in a boyfriend, I got. I got patience. I got love. I wanted to be different compared to his other partners, and I was. He's never wanted to live with anybody, and now I live with him. And I was like I was different for him than other girls, and that's exactly what I wanted in a relationship. That's exactly what I wanted when I put love in my vision board. I wanted to be different for someone. I didn't want to be like any other girlfriend, and that's exactly what I got. And And this all comes back to facing fears, because sometimes we are so scared of what others are going to think. We are so scared. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't, like I said, I didn't tell anybody about my vision board. My boyfriend was the first one to find out that I had a vision board. And this was like 3 months or 4 months after we were dating. But my vision board stayed in my room. I moved away from home before the year ended, which that was on my vision board as well. And I left my vision board in my room, and no one knew about it until I made a YouTube video, and everybody was like, "Oh my goodness, it really came true." I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't know it was going to come true. But looking back in December, it was amazing to see all the things that came true. Like it was really, really nice to see everything come together. And it wasn't because, well, I made just a board. It was because I woke up every morning and I was just like, I have to do this. And it was it was nice. It was nice to have all of that. Um and I had to learn how to be fearless and believe in myself, and it's very important for us to really face our fears, to really, even being here in front of the camera, even being here and creating this podcast. Like, yes, it was a night. I was literally just sitting doing a live on Instagram, doing my makeup, and then I told Yannick, like, "Hey, you remember a few months ago I told you about the idea of making a podcast myself?" And he's like, "No." And then I was like, "Why don't we just make a preview for it right now and let's do it on Monday?" And that was like Saturday night. And I'm not gonna lie, I do have a lot of things that I have going on in my life. Like, I have to give class. I'm a teacher. I have a lot of things going on throughout my day. Um, so I didn't get like really super nervous throughout the day. I wasn't anxious. Like, I barely even remembered that I had a podcast today. I had to write it down on my calendar in order for me to not forget that I had a podcast today. Um, but a few minutes before, when I was doing my makeup, that's when it hit me. And I was like, what if no one shows up? Or what if no one really cares to what I have to say? What if no one wants to be here? No one comes around. And the thing is, when you try something new and you get out of your comfort zone, it's not going to be successful the first time. It can be, but you need to learn that even if there's one person there for you, or even there's only one person believing in you, or one person um yeah, just supporting you, you can do it. And you have to push through that. You have to push. Maybe today I might not have anybody, but maybe the next one I'll have one person. And within a month, I'll have like 10 people watching me. And that's okay, because I like talking about myself. That's going to sound super conceited, but I do. I really like talking about myself. And it sucks that I went through all this life, or I go through all this life with mental disorders and panic attacks, and it really does suck. I wish I didn't go through all of this. I wish my brain would just be normal sometimes, but instead of looking at, oh my gosh, I've had this sad life, life is so unfair, blah 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 blah. I just like to create something positive. I'm able to relate in ways not a lot of people can relate to other people. I mean, I'm able to recognize bad patterns, or scary patterns. I'm able to really understand why someone would have a panic attack, why someone has an eating disorder, why someone is so afraid of something. Like, I'm able to understand them. And that's beautiful, and it's something that not a lot of people can do. I've met a lot of I'm a teacher, and I've met a lot of teachers out there that could care less about what's going on in their students' brain. Like, could care less what's going around at home. Recently I made a well, not recently, like maybe 8 months ago, I met a teacher that's also an English teacher, and he was just telling me about how he doesn't care about his students. They're his students when they're in the classroom, but he's not going to be a father. He's not going to be a friend because he's a teacher, and he shouldn't be listening to their stories. They should be in class and present because they should be in class and they're in school. But he's not going to be a friend to them because he's not. He's not going to be a father. And I just sat there listening to him, and I was just so like, what? And it's because he still, either he has not like come to terms to everything that's going in his mind, and he just doesn't want to know about anything else, and he just wants to escape. And this guy used to drink a lot, and just like do drugs and stuff. And I was just like, uh maybe he still hasn't like healed himself or found himself or anything. And I'm the type of teacher that I listen to my students. I like to be not their mom, but I like to be like a friend, someone that they can feel comfortable with, someone that they can talk, because nowadays we have no idea what's going on in someone's brain. I mean, little kids, like little kids, little babies have panic attacks now, have anxiety. Back in the day, like I remember just meeting one person that had autism, but now it's crazy that amount of people that now go through mental illnesses. It's crazy. And it's scary. And as a teacher, I see that. I see students having depression from a young age. I recently had a student that was on meds, and while I was his teacher, he went off of meds. And I'm glad that I was his teacher when he went through that journey, because every single teacher at his school was treating him so badly, was giving him detention, was getting him punished, and was being so rude to him. And no one, I believe only one person in that school actually sat down and talked to him like a human being. And as soon as they told me, hey, he's getting off his meds, the way I saw him was completely different, because I didn't see a troubled child. I didn't see a bully. I didn't see any of that. What I saw was a human being going through hell, that even grown-ups go through that when they get off of meds. And this child was going through that. And obviously he didn't understand what was going on. He didn't understand why he had to take meds in the first place. He didn't understand why he was getting off of them. He didn't understand why he felt this way and all these side effects and these symptoms that he would get when he got off of them. And but I was glad that I was his teacher. And I'm glad that, due to me facing my fears and going out there and moving away from home and meeting all these people, I'm able to help, and not just help other people, but also help myself and heal myself. You won't get better if you're in your comfort zone. I could be right now, if I wouldn't have gotten out of my comfort zone, if I wouldn't have started dating, if I wouldn't have had the wonderful idea of moving to like the biggest city I have in my country, I wouldn't be here. I would probably be still living with my parents, which there's nothing bad if you live with your parents, but I would still be in my little room, and I would probably still have anxiety. I would probably have a crappy job that doesn't pay me much. I would have probably gone back to my first teaching job, that was not a good job at all. And my boss was just a terrible boss. And I would just be living hell and settling for that. But I didn't. As soon as I got better, I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to get out of the city, and I wanted to just come here to this huge, massive city. And I had a lot of people tell me, oh my goodness, I had a lot of people tell me, like, you're not going to like Mexico City. Like, you like it because you like the cold weather and you only go there a few weeks throughout the year. But as like living, you're not going to like it. You have to use public transportation. You have to use the metro. You have to use, you have to use like you have to be in crowded places. It's always crowded, this and that. And I remember I told one of those people, I'm like, what if I don't use public transportation? And they're all like, well, only rich people have cars. Only people with money have cars. Uh, till this day, I have not used public transportation. I've been living here a year, and I have not used public transportation. I've never gone on the metro, and I don't plan on going on that thing. That thing scares me. Um, but I get driven around in a Cadillac every single day, and I don't have to worry about using public transportation. And all of that, I got all of this because I truly believe that there was a future out there. I truly believe that things were going to get better. And I believed in myself. And instead of being so negative all the time, I decided to not be that. I decided to dream big, and I decided to dream in what I wanted to dream, not what I thought was going to come true. And that's how I got here. And it's crazy after all of this to really see where I am. One of the things I do is just look out at my window, the window that I have in my room. I look I look out that window and I see all of well, most a lot of the city. And I just look at that beautiful, because I live on a 13th floor and it looks beautiful. And I just can't believe that I made it here. I can't believe that I actually did. But if I wouldn't have faced my fears, it would have been I would still be there. I would still be in my little small little bubble and be hating life and be so insecure and not be confident. Um so yeah, facing your fears requires you getting your ass up and screw what people say. And if it means not talking to anybody about your goals and just working them in the low key, do that, because that's honestly what I did. No one really knew what was going to go on in my life. No one really knew what I was planning. Only myself. I only knew that I had a vision board and that's what I wanted that year. And man, if I would have told people, they would have laughed in my face. Like, you really expect that to happen? And it did. All that year it happened, and it was so magical. And there were people, there's always going to be people that are going to tell you, like, you have to be realistic. Where are you going to get? If I would have told people what would have happened, like, if I would have told people like my vision board and everything that I had planned, they'd be like, okay, how are you going to get the money? How are you going to go to the city? How are you going to be in transportation, in public transportation, and not get a panic attack? How? Uh so I avoided all of that, and I just didn't say anything, because there was always going to be people that are going to try to put you down, always. And but know that you will find people that will want the best for you. And that's exactly what I wanted in life, and that's exactly what I got. I have a whole entire team and my family supporting in every crazy idea that I do. Um and it's sad sometimes, because I do want to reach out to some old friends. I do want to go out for coffee. I do want to go to these fun places. But when I see these friends, or when I talk to these friends, one of the main things I receive is like, they criticize me, but not in, like, in a good way, because I know when someone criticizes you in a good way. I mean, you know, I have a circle of friends that does it in a good way. But when I go out with other friends from my past, it sucks to see that they're not giving me advice. They just want to put me down. And since they can't find a way to put me down, they try to hit my sensible, like, sensitive spots. And yeah, it's really just sad to see all these things. And it's really sad that you can't reach out to these people anymore. Um but that all of that brings when you all of this happens when you face your fears. You're going to change as a person, and you're going to have a lot of people saying that you changed. So yeah, I had a lot of people saying, telling me, you changed a lot. You don't do this, you don't do that. Don't forget where you come from. And one thing that I want to say is, like, I want to forget where I come from, because I have a lot of traumas from my hometown. Like, I have a lot of traumas from where I live. Like, I want to forget. I no longer want that to be, like, part of my life, because I have so many traumas. I have so many bad memories. I don't want to remember that I lived there. I don't want to remember that I was there. Yes, I'm taking all this pain with me and creating something positive, but I just don't want to remember all the details and everything that happened in that city. Like, no. And it's not me trying to feel like I'm superior. It's just me really just I don't want to remember. Me trying to forget all these negative energy, negative memories, and then just try to remember the positive ones, like the ones I have now. Um, I'm gonna drink some water because my mouth is getting dry. Okay. Um, but anyway, um, one of the good things to also do, and I don't recommend that you do move to a city very impulsively, and when you have an idea, sometimes being impulsive is good, but if it's a big step, like for example, when I moved to the city, I investigated everything about the city, um, as much as I could. I tried to learn the neighborhoods. I tried to learn public transportation, how I was gonna get to these places. Thankfully, my boyfriend saved me fast enough that I didn't have to use these things. um, but I learned about how the weather is like, how are the people like, uh, where my job was going to be and where I was going to live and how far it was and what I had to do to get there. And yeah, my boyfriend made it easy, but you have to learn these things. You really have to do some research. I mean, when you plan something, it takes time. For me, it took the first 6 months of the year. No, the first 5 months of the year, um, to really just plan on what I was going to do. It wasn't until July, July, that I moved to the city, to here, and I had to plan for it. I remember I arrived with this like little box, and I carried that little box around with me everywhere I went, and and it was just like the the small amount of clothes that I had that were for cold areas, and it's crazy to think that everything fit in that box. Right now I have a walk-in closet that probably only my jackets fit in that box. And not even all my jackets, probably just half of the jackets I own fit in that box. So it like I said, it is amazing to face these fears. And now I know most of you are probably saying like it sounds easy, and it's not. It's not. I make it sound so magical and so happy, but man, you everything that it takes to face your fears, it brings a lot of ugly things, like a lot of ugly things. You have oh wait, before I forget, babe, did you share this on my Facebook? And he can't hear me because he's wearing headphones. Sound. I hope he's watching my live and he notices what I just asked him. I don't think so. Hi. Did you share this on my Facebook? Okay. Okay. Are you watching it? Ah, but it's like behind. It's behind. Okay. Okay. So now we know why he couldn't hear me. Um, just lost sight. Oh yeah, that this might all seem like all pink and. Oh, he said I don't think he has. Mary says that she doesn't think you've had share it on Facebook because she thinks that you haven't shared it on Facebook. Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, anyway, this all might seem like all beautiful and magical and ponies and unicorns and whatnot, but it was not. I cried so many times. I I cried every day for 6 months. I literally had meltdowns. Until this day, I still have some. I have panic attacks. I cannot, like, man, I would be a billionaire if they paid me every time I cried throughout this year and last year. But see, that's the thing of growing. You growing is not beautiful. I mean, it's not all beautiful. You will cry, you will fall down, you will think like the world is against you and you will want to give up. But that's what makes growing beautiful. um Not giving up. And I remember just that's exactly what I did, and I can see why a lot of people give up in the process. I can see why a lot of people are like, no, I'd much rather go to my comfort zone and just stay there instead of making my life harder than it already is. But that's the thing, you have to make your life hard. If things aren't hard, you're not outside your comfort zone. If things aren't uncomfortable, obviously you are not in your comfort zone. If things are too easy, try doing something that makes things a little bit more complicated, or harder, because when you are outside of your comfort zone, it's not easy. It is not. And you're going to want to give up. You're going to want to not want to be here. You're going to it's gonna be crazy. Now, as a lot of you guys know, especially my sister knows this, I used to have a phobia of elevators. Oh my gosh, the fear that I had of getting on an elevator was crazy. Like, it was bad. I would cry. I would get panic attacks with just seeing the doors. I would just get a panic attack with just seeing the metal doors of an elevator. Like, it was crazy. I went 10 years of my life without getting in an elevator. And I always said, I'm not getting in an elevator. If I go to a hospital, I have to be unconscious, and that's the only way you're going to get me in an elevator. If I have a job and they tell me to get on an elevator, I'd much rather be fired than go on an elevator. Um, so it wasn't until a little over a year ago, when I was like doing this whole finding myself and stuff, that I was dating someone that lived on the 20th floor. Now, yeah, the first time that we went to his apartment, uh I couldn't do it. So I literally walked up the stairs till the 20th floor, and I could not do it. He had a pool on his rooftop, and he told me, I want to go to the pool, but there are no stairs up to the pool. So I was just all like, at that point, since I was like panicking and everything, I didn't think about what he actually has said and how he was actually lying to me. And I knew that there were stairs up to the pool, but he wanted me to face my fears. And why am I telling you guys this? Is because he said something that till this day, I always keep in my mind. And he told me, he's like, I really don't understand your fear of panic attacks. Your fear of elevators. I really don't understand it, because I'm not afraid of anything in life. Um, so he's like, but I'm trying. I'm trying to help you, and I will help you get on the elevator. He's like, but I just want to tell you, like, I would be more afraid of what I'm missing out of, and of what life, um, of things. What did he say? I'm trying to remember exactly his words. Of what I'm missing out in life by not going on an elevator, by not facing a fear, than the fear itself. And that moment for me was just all like, I literally sat there for like 1 minute, and I was thinking about everything that I missed out in life because of fears. I missed out on a lot of things because of fears. I missed out on graduations. I missed out on parties. I missed out on my teenage years of having fun and going and doing crazy things. I missed out on a lot of those years because I was too afraid to meet people. I was too afraid to be awkward. And um And so when he said that, I just told him, well, let's do it. I cried. I cried. He lived on the 20th floor. I think the pool was on the 28th floor, if I'm not mistaken, on the 27th floor. So it was literally like a 6-second thing that I was on the elevator. Those 6 seconds were the longest 6 seconds I have ever gone through in my whole entire life. And I cried. I cried during the elevator. I cried when we got out of the elevator. And I remember people just staring at us. But I did it. And then we were on the pool. I was all better, minding my own business. And then we had to go back. And I told him, like, I asked him again, are there stairs? And he's like, there's no stairs to come up here. So we have to use the elevator again. And so I was like, okay. I walked in the elevator like nothing. And I remember he even telling me, like, I think you just made it up that you were afraid of elevators because you literally just walked in like nothing. But I was like, I already did it once and I didn't die. So yes, I'm panicking. Yes, I have butterflies in my stomach. Yes, I feel like crying again, but I have to do it. And I know that I'm not going to die because of going inside an elevator. And I did it. Soon enough, I was going up and down elevators alone. And now I'm not gonna lie, I still get nervous in elevators. Randomly, I get panic attacks sometimes that I'm in an elevator. But I live in a 13th floor, so I use the elevator at least once a day. Um, and if I wouldn't have faced my fear of of the elevator, I wouldn't have this amazing view that I have from my bedroom of the city. I wouldn't have this, like, I wouldn't be living in this amazing apartment. And in a way that represents a lot of things in life. Because of your fears, you miss out on so many opportunities. You miss out on meeting so many people and so many experiences. And that's really something that we have to reflect on. I mean, I would cry so bad in front of elevators. It was bad. And I remember when I faced my fear of an elevator, I told uh the guy I was dating, I cannot do anything for the rest of the year. I could literally go back into my room and not do anything for the rest of the year. And it will be the best year of my life because I faced something I've been scared of for a decade. And I don't care what I accomplish in this year, just the fact that I went on a fucking elevator. I do not care what happens. I do not care if I don't do anything else with my life this year. I already accomplished more than I ever thought I would. Um, but I did accomplish everything that last year, and now I'm accomplishing more things. This year, obviously, I wanted face a bigger fear, which is getting on an airplane. Because of COVID, it's a little bit hard, but but let's hope maybe this year, if not next year, one step at a time. And when it's safe, I will face that fear. Um, Also, just the fear of being here, being in front of a camera. And one of the main strongest fears that I have right now, that I am facing, is not having my perfect body. Um, is not being a size 0. It's not being a size 1 or 2, because now I'm no longer those sizes. I'm not even a size 5. I'm like a size 8 now. Um, and I'm facing my fear of not being that size. And I know it must sound silly, but as someone with an eating disorder, this is big. And it's facing my fear of being comfortable in this weight. Obviously, I'm back at the gym and I'm gonna lose this weight, but this is what keeps me from making YouTube videos. This is what keeps me from vlogging. This is what keeps me from doing something where people can see me on the internet, because I don't like being a size that's not a size 1. I don't like what I see in the mirror sometimes. And I wake up sometimes and I'm just like, ew, to myself on the mirror. But I'm learning how to love with myself like this. I'm learning to love myself even if I go back to being super fit. When I was fit, because I've always had eating disorders, but there was a point in my life where I was super fit and I was healthy, skinny, and it was just like I was just healthy and going to the gym, and I was super strong, and I would do like 2 hours at a gym, and I would eat a lot, but also because I was going to the gym, I was just fit. And even though I'm not there, I'm getting there. And loving myself through this journey has been a challenge. But facing the fear of being in front of the camera, even though I'm not there, is amazing. I mean, I even deleted my social media for a day or two because I didn't want anybody to see how big I was getting. Um, I had I had friends telling me how fat I was, and that wasn't nice. But I faced my fear of letting them go. I faced my fear of deleting a lot of people that were just useless on Facebook. For me, they weren't bringing anything negative. I faced my fear of really just not listening to people. And like I said, I'm facing my fear of being a size 8 and still trying to love myself and still being on camera and still going out and working and still trying to live the best life I can, and working hard at the gym. Even my arms are sore right now because today was arms, and and they're sore, but I love that because that means I'm doing something right. And but I'm out here fighting, and when I could be in my little room just complaining about life and just thinking that life is over for me, I could be there, but I'm not. And doing this podcast is harder than I thought because I love talking about myself, but now I'm getting tired. and and Yannick hasn't heard that yet. So he's like, "Oh, this is so inspiring." And then now he's about to hear what I just said. You're about to hear it on the podcast, what I'm about to say, what I just said. Oh my goodness, I have a bunch of cat hair everywhere. He hasn't heard it yet. It's because Yannick is wearing ear canceling noise thingies, and so he can't hear what I'm saying. He's only hearing the podcast, and the podcast is a few minutes. Um, you know, it's a few minutes off, so he just heard it and he's laughing. But yeah. Anyway, I know that there are 4 people watching me at this moment. I don't know who they are. I know one is my sister, one is Yannick, one is me, and there's another person probably. I don't know. But if you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to say, this would be a really nice moment to start commenting. Please, because I'm getting tired of talking. Mara's like, my mom is the other person. I didn't tell my mom, honestly. I didn't tell her that I was going to be on a podcast. Um, but yeah, the reason why I created this podcast was because so you guys can know that you guys are not alone. It takes baby steps to get here. For me, it took a year, but for other people, it could take 5. But I would be more scared to be sitting, like I said, I would be more scared to be sitting in my room, not doing and not trying absolutely anything because of fear than what I'm fearing. And yeah, like I said, the guy I was dating, that stuck for me for a long time. It was, and it has been with me since that day, because that was like something that really opened up the way I saw the world. It really changed the way I saw the world, and it really, really brought me down to earth. And I still say that to myself when I don't want to do something. Like it's scary. And coming here on this podcast was scary for me. I was like, oh my gosh, what if no one is here? What if no one, but see, we all start somewhere. um Even YouTube videos, I don't have a lot of views on YouTube, but I want to be a YouTuber. I want to have a podcast. I want to I don't know, be a public figure or something. um I love all these things. I want to be a fashion designer at some point. I But most of all, I never want to stop dreaming. I never want to be a person that settles. Yes, I live with my boyfriend and we have a beautiful apartment and it's gorgeous, but you guys already know that I want the penthouse that's across the street. That's my dream and I want that penthouse. Yeah, when I get that penthouse, I'm going to want a mansion. Yes. but 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 see, that's the thing. That's what keeps me dreaming and wanting to be a better person. Um and yeah, my sister says, I think that moving out and being such an independent woman is just so brave of you. You should talk about a good and bad experience when you first moved to Herradura. Oh, yeah. So as many of you guys know, I didn't know a lot of people where I moved at. The city is huge. So I moved to this small little town inside the city, um, and it's beautiful. And the best thing about the experience was obviously decorating my room. It was decorating the place where I was gonna live. The roommate, everything was amazing, and the best thing was being independent, looking at myself and being, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be here. I never thought that I would have this. I had never moved out of my parents' house until that day, and it was amazing. Uh, the bad thing is, there's a lot of bad things, but nothing compares to freedom and feeling independent. Um, One of the bad things was I would feel lonely sometimes, and it was up to me if I ate. And before, well, I would have dinner at a table, I would have lunch, I didn't have to cook, I didn't have to clean. And now it's up to me to make food, to make sure I was safe, to make sure there was toilet paper. Who knew you had to buy toilet paper? I thought toilet paper was just like something that you had in your house because you had it and it was just kept refilling. I don't know. I thought toilet paper was just there. I didn't think that you had to buy it. It was definitely challenging to manage your money. That was definitely a challenge because I'm a shopaholic. So during those months that I lived in my place, it was it was hard. It was hard for me to not shop. So thankfully, my boyfriend sometimes would be like, you know what? There are sales at your favorite store, Forever 21. Here's a little money. Go buy yourself something pretty, and then I would be like, okay, and then I would go. Um, but but I guess just realizing you're an adult, uh, that reason is something good and something bad, at the same time. And and feeling lonely sometimes, and wishing you had people around you, and knowing that if you run out of money, uh you don't have backup. Like, you don't have people in your house that you could just go up to your mom and be like, oh mom, I ran out of money, can you give me for an Uber, or can you give me for a taxi? I literally, if I had no money, that meant I couldn't go to work, or I had to walk to work. So I guess that was one of the most challenging things, but one of the best things was decorating. I definitely love decorating. And the place where I live was beautiful. It had marble floors. It was spectacular. I loved it. I loved it. The only thing that I didn't like, it didn't have an elevator. I had to go up 5 floors every single day. Um there was a lot of scorpions in the apartment. So as soon as that happened, I was out. I'm like, you know what? Peace out. I do not have time for scorpions. Um, but it was beautiful overall. It was a good experience for living, um, living in a place of your own for the first time. Um, and it was crazy that my family didn't even know where I lived. Like my family had no idea where I was living in Mexico City. Like they had no idea. So it was crazy. I wish my mom would have seen that place. I wish my mom would have seen that place. That place was spectacular. I really liked it. It was a really nice place. Um, but yeah, I guess just that and having to go to work. I couldn't afford not going to work. But it was beautiful. It was a good experience. Um, but anyway, one important thing to keep in mind is to celebrate each step. For example, today, now, right here, this is a big step. Uh, Getting for the first time in front of the podcast. What am I gonna do after the podcast? You guys already know. My boyfriend is gonna take me shopping for Halloween things. So that is celebrating each step. And I'm saying this in front of the podcast so he doesn't forget and he knows that people know now that he has to take me Halloween shopping after this. Um, so anyway, it's to celebrate each step, you guys. Even if it's like little things, just buying yourself a little cup of your favorite ice cream or a cone of your favorite ice cream every time something good happens. Today, I had a class. My student canceled 20 minutes before class started. 20 minutes. We were already there. Um and I looked at Yannick and I was freaking out and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Are you mad? Like I made you come all the way over here and we just wasted gas. We just did this and that. And I was just freaking out. And Yannick is my boyfriend. He was like, I'm celebrating because I managed to get you out of the house. Last night, I had big panic attack because I have agoraphobia, which is like being scared of getting out of the house. And yesterday he went to Walmart without me and I was crying because I wanted to go to Walmart, but I got this huge massive panic attack. I couldn't do it any longer. Like I couldn't go. And Yannick was just like, I'm celebrating the fact that yesterday you had a huge massive panic attack because you couldn't go to Walmart because you were too scared of getting a panic attack inside Walmart. And today you were ready with everything that you needed for the class and you left the house. So he wasn't even mad. He was celebrating just me leaving the house today after having a panic attack yesterday for even thinking of leaving the house. And see, those are the things that matter. Celebrate each step that you take. Obviously sometimes I tend to over celebrate and sometimes I spend all my money celebrating, buying myself new clothes and things on the internet. I don't recommend doing that. I mean, it helps a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, it helps a lot. But really just buy yourself something. Buy yourself that t-shirt you wanted on H&M. Treat yourself. Buy yourself. Sometimes when I get in a good mood, I buy myself waffles because I love waffles. So I'm just like, I'm gonna treat myself with waffles. My boyfriend likes to treat me with Krispy Kreme donuts. Really little things like that. Celebrate each step because that's what life is about. Celebrating the little moments, the little achievements, and maybe you won't notice you won't notice them, but when you look back, it would be like, oh my goodness. For me, I feel like the past 2 years, nothing changes. I feel like every day is the same, just different activities. But when I look back, I'm like, oh my goodness, 2 years ago I was living back home and now I'm here. 2 years ago I didn't have a walk-in closet. 2 years ago I was scared of life. I was crying because of everything that was going on in my life. And I didn't think that there were days that I didn't have a reason to get up. There were days I would literally just lay in bed and I'd just be like, I don't want to get up today. I don't. I have no reason to live anymore. And there were days that I was so scared of myself, um, that I was gonna like kill myself or something. And I was so terrified of being alone because I didn't want that, but I was just so scared that I was gonna do it. And due to that, I looked looked for attention, from people that were not good for me, from people that literally wanted to destroy me, people that would do anything to see me like to see me broken. And it's amazing how many people disguise themselves as friends, and they just try to destroy you completely. And but I'm not gonna lie, I had one or two friends, three friends that were very, very, very nice to me, that helped me through this journey, that opened up their homes to me, that were very, very kind. And yeah, out of 50 friends that I had, it turned out that I only had two good friends, or three good friends, and everybody else just disappeared. Um and that's gonna happen when you're in a bad place. That's gonna happen, but don't know damn well that there are people out there that will help you with without any expectations. There are people out there rooting for you. There are people out there that will help you. If you need a place for to stay, there are people that will open their homes to you, regardless if you have money for food or not. There are people that are gonna believe in you. I am so blessed to have a circle now, and I healed the circle with my family, that now I count on them. And it's amazing. It's amazing to have a relationship so peaceful where I don't have to worry about drama. And I see my friends that are my age, and I'm just like, y'all are still being so toxic. Y'all still in around these people that only want to party, that only talk about drugs, that only do this and that. Why aren't you around people that want to create the best version of yourselves? And I see all my friends crying over these little boys, and I see people making drama over relationships, over being toxic, and I'm just like, yo, you can use that time to make money and build your future. You can use that money to really make something creative. um and instead you use it to just act like you're in high school. Like, I miss high school. I missed a lot of my high school things, and I wish I could go back to high school, but sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not as bad as these people out here, like, that still haven't, you know accepted the fact that they're no longer in high school and they're no longer teenagers, and we should be acting like adults. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I act like a child, um a spoiled child, a lot of times, especially when it comes down to food and clothes. But anyway, I just it's crazy at the amount of time that we spend being toxic towards other, and feeling all these negative energies, when honestly they're taking away our time, and our time is so valuable. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to rush things. Things take time. And pay attention to the journey. Enjoy the journey. Because during that journey, you will find yourself. You will find amazing, amazing human beings. You will find um you will find good experiences. And I don't know where I read this on the internet, but it's not about the destination, but it's more about the journey that takes you there. Of course, I wanna have a mansion someday, and I wanna be famous and stuff, but it's the journey of right now. It's little things like waking up next to my boyfriend every day, and the first thing I tell him is like, "Good morning, babe." It's little things like that. It's, it's talking to my sister for, like, an hour or 2 on the phone and just enjoying ourselves. It's the fact that, uh, I'm making more money than I've ever made in my whole entire life. As a teacher, I'm making more money this time during this pandemic, which is crazy. But I'm making more money. Um, and it's really just that. It's 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 the little things. Um, So yeah, what else did I want to tell you guys? I literally have a board here telling me like every keynote that I have to like talk about because yeah, I tend to forget a lot of things. And falling. Falling is part of the journey. You are going to fall, you are going to cry, you are going to sweat, you are going to hate yourself, you are going to be tired. Yes, you will be all these things. But this is the part, this is all part of growing. Growing is not easy and it's not as fairy tale as everybody makes it sound. It is, but it isn't. Um, and the important thing is that when you fall, you get up. Every time I fail, all the periods of my life, even if it took me 6 months to get up, even if it took me a year to get up, I got up. I got up to school. I got up to work. Um, I got up to drink water. I got up to use the bathroom, but I got up for something. And I got up to drink some water and then I realized, hey, maybe I should clean my sheets. And I washed my sheets. And then I was like, oh hey, now I can't lay on my bed until my sheets are ready. Maybe I should watch some TV, and watch something happy that's gonna make me get inspired. Then I watched TV and then I realized, oh, I'm hungry. I no longer want to starve myself. I'm gonna eat something. And that's how my day started. I started to be productive. Not like maybe not in a work environment or maybe not creating content or something, but I did something other than laying down in bed and hating myself and hating life and listening to the voices and everything. I did something. I got up and I drew. I got up and I swept my bedroom. I got up because I wanted pizza, so I asked my mom to get me some pizza. I got up to go buy some cookies at like my neighborhood store thing. Um, those little activities will end up taking you to maybe 2 weeks later, a month later, 3 months later, you get inspired to find a job, and then you find a job. And then you get inspired to get like a promotion, then you get a promotion. And then maybe you want to leave the city and you want to go live in another city. Now you have money saved up to do that. And then you go. Literally, when I got here to Mexico City, I'm so thankful for my parents and I'm so thankful for my boyfriend because I had 500 pesos when I came to the city. I had no more than that, which that is like $25. That's everything that I had. I had no money. And I was saving that up for an emergency. Um, but you can only do that obviously if you have people that can help you. I don't recommend you doing that. I recommend you saving up. Um, but I went for it. I went for it and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I have no money, but if I don't do it now, I won't do it. And I asked for help, and that is something very important. Ask for help because people will help you. And there are people out there that will help you without any expectations. And if you have people in your life that only help you when they're expecting something in return, get rid of those people because no one has time or energy for those type of people. And you're just, like I said, wasting your time on them. Because there are good people out there. And if someone's going to do something for you, they shouldn't be expecting anything in return. Because when I do something good for someone, when I pay something for someone, when I buy something for someone, I don't expect anything in return. Maybe in my past life when I was trained, I would like, be like, but I bought you this. But people know that that was not me talking. That's like me, my voices taking over, and I'm just drained and tired. But when I'm the best version of myself, I give things and I give out things, and I don't expect anything in return. I just love spoiling people. And thankfully my boyfriend likes to spoil me. Um but me as well. I love to spoil people, and that's an important thing. Find people that will not expect anything in return when you help them, or when they help you. And they do exist. Okay, they do. They do. If you're in that mindset that people never do anything for free or people that always want something in return, then that's exactly the people that you are going to attract. But if you think positive and you're like, I know that there's someone out there that doesn't expect anything in return and I know that I will find them, your life will change. The way you think in your mind is so powerful. It could change things. Through this pandemic, I kept trying to think positive, and people call me crazy. People told me, you live in this little bubble, blah, blah. Like, there's people dying out here. And I'm like, yes, I know this pandemic is crazy. I know this pandemic is serious. But what did I do? I tried to stick to the positive. Global warming is getting better due to this coronavirus because there's not a lot of cars, because people got into quarantine. A lot of cities started to see the sky. I didn't know there were cities in the world that couldn't see the sky. Apparently there was. And I tried to focus on this, on these positive things. Thankfully, 6 months later, I'm making more money than I've ever made because I decided to let go of every energy, every person on Facebook that was posting all these negative things. I would see something negative, I would go on their profile and I'm like, bye. I didn't care if they were a close friend. I didn't care if I knew them for the long time. I was like, I don't need this energy. And when you start eliminating all these negative energies from, I sound such like a hippie. But anyway, when you start deleting all of these negativeness, your life changes. And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't change from de la noche a la mañana. It doesn't change from one day to another. It's gonna take time. But this is why a lot of people stay stuck where they are, because they are not determined to stay on that path, to change their circle of friends. A lot of people want to hold on to people, and you don't realize how negative they are to you. You don't realize how much they put you down and how much you stay stuck there because you just want that person in your life or those people in your life. And that's a hard lesson I had to learn, that in order for you to change, you have to change the people that you're around with. You have to change your environment and move across the fucking country if you have to. Because that's how you start new things, and you need positive things. And if the group of friends that you have right now isn't working, just change, because most of them won't even be there when things get tough. And that's one thing I had to learn in a really, really bad way. A lot of people won't stay when things get tough. So yes, friends, this is going to sound so bad. I don't even know how to say this, but you can replace them. And just because they've been your friends for 10 years doesn't mean you owe them anything. You really don't. And if they're keeping you down and they're keeping you from facing your fears and they're keeping you in your comfort zone, just replace them. Go find something else. Friends can be replaced. Family can be replaced. Just because they're your family and they're your own blood, it doesn't mean that you have to stay with them. It doesn't mean that you owe them anything. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say for today. What? What am I missing? Oh, the comments? Oh, the comments. I knew that. Okay, before I go, the comments. We have my sister saying, I'm the number one person that gets spoiled by you. Yes, my little sister, every time she comes to see me, she gets spoiled. So I always take her to like Forever 21 and all of these like H&M and stuff. And I like spoiling her. At one point we did get in an argument and I did tell her like, I bought you this and this and that. And I remember her being like, I never want to buy you anything. I never want you to buy me anything if you're going to throw it in my face. But no, she knows that was me when I was in a drained space. And that was my anger talking. But honestly, I buy her all these things, but when I'm okay with myself and when I love myself, I don't expect anything in return. When I'm the best version of myself, I just do this because I love spoiling people. And Mara has witnessed that. My sister has witnessed me being the best version of myself and buying things and spoiling her and spoiling others. And she's also experienced when I've lost everything and I've lost every single person in my life and I've lost a lot of my friends and I only have literally only 3 people I can count on and those people are working and busy and I feel lonely and Mara has been there when I've gotten that way where I would throw where I would just like throw that to her face and be like, I've bought you this and this and that, and you're not here for me and stuff. And that's not the way I think when I'm myself. That's the way I think when I'm drained, or when all this negative and all these thoughts and depression and anxiety and all these mental illnesses take over, because that's not me. And yeah, that's just know that facing your feels will be hard. Facing your feels will mean you're going to fall down, but every time you fall down, it's going to be easier to get up. Some days it won't, some days it will, but the important thing is that you're trying. And with that said, I will leave you guys for today. And since this was like very impulsive podcast, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about next week. So you guys are just going to have to wait on the preview with that, because I have no idea. This was really very impulsive, and like we came up with whatever this topic was because we're like, oh, you're facing your fear of being in front of the podcast camera, whatever. And yeah, so let's make your first episode about facing fears. So yeah, that's how we came up with the topic. So yeah, I will see you guys on Monday, the same time. And there should be a preview somewhere someday, probably Saturday of next week. Yeah, you guys will know what I'm talking about on Saturday. And then we have Steve saying, well, Mara said, love this podcast, love you. And then Steve is here saying, excuse me, I'm the one that spoils most. That spoils most. And then he says, back up. I'm quite curious to see what Mara is going to reply to this, because, well, let me just stay a little bit longer, because I'm quite curious to see how Mara is going to clap back to this. Because I am quite curious to see. Okay, Steve, don't test me. Yes, as you guys know, uh Steve is my boyfriend's best friend, and he gets along very well with Mare. And yeah, they're having this little argument on the comments of who I spoil who the most. And yes. So I definitely thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely enjoyed this, and I'm waiting for Mare to clap back. And now my boyfriend is like, ha ha ha, excuse me, I'm obviously the most spoiled. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Probably he's definitely the person that gets spoiled the most. That's what I thought. Somos amigos. What you mean, Yannick? All right. This gets into like very with detail. I think it should be time to go. He's literally laughing his ass off behind camera. Oh my gosh, the lighting in this podcast looks amazing. Um excuse me, friends. You're the third. Ha ha ha. Sí, claro. You guys are always welcome to watch this podcast. Yes, Jefe, calm down. But yeah, this podcast will be like a safe place for you guys to express yourself, to really come out and really talk about it. I know there are a lot of people out there that are afraid to talk about what goes on in their mind. I know there are a lot of people that don't have someone to talk to. And this is the reason why I created this podcast. This is the reason why I wanted to come here, because I want people to not be scared to say what they think, to say what goes on in their mind, to face eating disorders, to face mental illnesses. I want you guys to know that you have someone, and that is me. And obviously, because I also like being in front of the camera and wearing cute outfits and being the center of attention, and for people to literally watch me, obviously I like that too. So yeah, it's a good cause. It's a win-win situation, right, baby? All right. So see you guys later. make sure to subscribe to what? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Dessicoco. No, Desi_Coco. And you guys can also follow me on Facebook, Dessiquiterio. And you can follow my Facebook page, Dessicoco. And you can follow the page, what is it? Self-love healing with Dessicoco. I still can't remember my name. So I will see you guys next time. And thank you so much for participating, especially Steve and Yannick for helping in the background, and Mare for being here and sitting down while I was just literally